The sound of breaking glass shattered the silence of our empty house. I froze at my desk, pen hovering over half-graded biology papers, heart suddenly thundering against my ribs. No one should be home. Dad was at work, Emma was at college, and Rachel was visiting her sister in Portland. I'm Lauren, and after 25 years of predictable suburban life, I knew every creak and groan of our Victorian home. This sound didn't belong. Another crash echoed from downstairs, followed by muffled cursing. My fingers found my phone, thumb hovering over the emergency dial. The smart thing would be to call the police. Instead, I grabbed the heavy brass paperweight from my desk and crept toward the stairs. The intruder was in Dad's study. Moonlight spilled through the bay windows, illuminating a familiar silhouette I hadn't seen in 19 years. My mother, Sarah Miller, was rifling through Dad's filing cabinet like she still owned the place. "What the hell are you doing here?" The words escaped before I could stop them. She whirled around, clutching a manila folder to her chest. Her face had aged, but those sharp green eyes, my eyes, hadn't changed. "Lauren." Her voice was exactly as I remembered, soft and musical, completely at odds with the situation. "You've grown so tall. Get out before I call the police." My grip tightened on the paperweight. "You won't." She smiled that knowing smile that used to comfort me during thunderstorms. Now it made my stomach turn. "You want answers too badly." "Answers?" I barked out a laugh. 19 years too late for those, don't you think? She glanced at her watch, then the window. "I don't have time to explain everything now, but you need to listen carefully. Things aren't what they seem. Your father—" "Don't you dare talk about Dad. You lost that right when you walked out on us." "I didn't walk out, Lauren. I was forced to leave." Her eyes darted to the doorway behind me. "There are things you don't understand. Dangerous things. Watch out for Olivia. She's not who you think she is." "Who's Olivia?" Instead of answering, she tucked the folder into her jacket and moved toward the window. "I have to go, but I'll be in touch when it's safe." She paused, one foot on the window seat. "Your sister Mia asks about you." The paperweight slipped from my numb fingers, hitting the carpet with a dull thud. "My what?" But she was already gone, disappearing into the darkness like she had 19 years ago. Only this time, she left behind more than just abandonment. She left questions that burned like acid in my throat. I stumbled to Dad's desk and flipped on the lamp. The filing cabinet drawer hung open, its contents in disarray. Whatever she'd taken, she'd been looking for something specific. My hands shook as I tried to make sense of the scattered papers. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a text from an unknown number. "Delete this immediately. Trust no one, especially not Olivia. She's been watching your father for years. I'll explain everything soon." "Mom." I stared at the message until the screen went dark, my mind racing. A sister named Mia, someone named Olivia. Dangerous things. My mother's sudden reappearance after nearly 2 decades of silence. None of it made sense, but one thing was crystal clear. The carefully constructed stability of my life had just been shattered like the glass still glittering on the study floor. The front door opened downstairs. "Lauren?" Dad's voice called out. "You home?" I quickly closed the filing cabinet and kicked the broken glass under his desk. "Up here," I called back, deleting the text message with trembling fingers. His footsteps on the stairs gave me just enough time to school my features into neutrality, but inside, something dark and determined was taking root. My mother might have left me with nothing but questions, but I was going to find answers, no matter the cost. 3 days after my mother's midnight visit, I found myself staring at an unfamiliar bank statement on Dad's computer. The numbers didn't add up. Regular monthly transfers of $5,000 to an account I'd never seen before, all tagged with the initials OH. "What are you doing in here?" Emma's voice cut through my concentration. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, looking more like Rachel every day. I minimized the window. "Research for work." The lie came easily. What brings you home from college on a Tuesday? Dad asked me to help organize the charity gala. She lingered, eyes narrowing. You've been acting weird since Sunday night. Did something happen? Nothing happened. Everything happened. Just stressed about work. Emma moved closer, perching on Dad's desk. You were always a terrible liar, Lauren. I heard you and Dad arguing yesterday. Eavesdropping now? When you're shouting about Mom? Yeah, I am. She picked up a framed photo of our family, before Sarah left, before Rachel, before everything fractured. Why bring her up after all this time? I studied my sister's face, wondering how much to reveal. Don't you ever wonder why she left? No, Emma set the photo down with deliberate care. And neither should you. We have Rachel now. We're happy. Are we? The door downstairs opened, followed by voices. Dad and a woman I didn't recognize. Emma straightened, suddenly alert. That's Olivia, Dad's new business partner. My heart stopped. OH, the bank transfers. Lauren, Dad called up. Come down, please. There's someone I'd like you to meet. Emma was already heading for the stairs. I closed the banking window and followed, each step feeling like lead. The woman standing in our foyer was striking, tall, elegant, with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. You must be Lauren, she said, extending a manicured hand. I've heard so much about you. I shook her hand, noting her grip was just slightly too tight. Funny, I haven't heard anything about you. Lauren, Dad warned. No, it's fine, Olivia laughed. I prefer to fly under the radar, but your father and I have some exciting plans for the family business. I wasn't aware we had a family business. Dad cleared his throat. Olivia's helping me diversify some investments. Actually, that's partly why I wanted you here. We're hosting a gala next week to announce our new venture. What venture? The question came out sharper than intended. Conservation projects, Olivia answered smoothly. Your father mentioned you work in wildlife education. We'd love your input. Something in her tone set off warning bells. I remembered Mom's text. Trust no one, especially not Olivia. I should get back to work, I said. Nice meeting you. Lauren, Dad's voice stopped me halfway up the stairs. We need to talk about Sunday night. I turned back. Olivia was watching me with calculated interest, while Emma seemed suddenly fascinated by her phone. Nothing to talk about, I said. Unless there's something you want to tell me. The silence stretched thin. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. I thought not. I continued upstairs, but not before catching Olivia's whispered comment to my father. She's gonna be a problem, Michael. Back in the study, I pulled up my phone and searched Olivia Hayes' business ventures. Pages of results appeared, mostly charity galas and conservation fundraisers. But buried in the archives was an article from 15 years ago, Hayes Industries under investigation for wildlife trafficking. The article had been removed, leaving only the headline. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Meet me tomorrow, Cafe on 4th, 2 p.m., come alone, MS. Below it was a photo, recent, showing a young girl with Sarah's eyes and my smile. Mia, I heard Olivia laugh downstairs, followed by Emma's eager response. The sound grated against my nerves like steel on glass. Whatever game Olivia was playing, whatever connection she had to my mother's disappearance and these mysterious payments, I was going to figure it out. But first, I needed to meet my sister. I glanced at the family photo Emma had been holding earlier. Behind the smiling faces, I could now see the cracks forming, the secrets that would eventually tear us apart. Tomorrow, I'd start putting the pieces back together. Or maybe I'd discover they were better left shattered. The cafe on 4th Street buzzed with afternoon crowds. But I spotted Sarah immediately. She sat in a corner booth, Mia beside her, both their heads bent over what looked like homework. My half-sister. The reality of her existence hit me harder in daylight. You came. Sarah's smile wavered as I slid into the booth. Mia, this is Lauren. Mia looked up, green eyes mirror images of my own. I know, I've seen your pictures. Before I could respond, Olivia Hayes materialized beside our table. What a charming family reunion. Sarah went rigid. You followed me? Insurance, darling. Olivia's perfectly manicured hand came to rest on Mia's shoulder. We wouldn't want anyone making impulsive decisions. Get your hand off my sister. The words came out before I could stop them. Olivia's smile sharpened. Sister? Interesting choice of words, considering you just met. But then again, family is such a fluid concept these days. Just ask your father about the conservation project contracts. What about them? Lauren, don't, Sarah warned. Oh, she doesn't know? Olivia slid into our booth, forcing me to move over. Your father's signature on those contracts? Forged. The real documents are quite different, but proving that would mean admitting to years of fraud, wouldn't it, Michael? My father stood at the cafe entrance, face ashen. He must have followed me here. Dad? It's not what you think, he started. It never is, I said, pieces clicking into place. The monthly payments, the sudden partnership with Olivia. You're being blackmailed. Blackmailed is such an ugly word, Olivia mused. I prefer mutually beneficial arrangement. Your mother understood that eventually. Didn't you, Sarah? Sarah pulled Mia closer. I understood you'd destroy everything if I didn't play along. And now history repeats itself. Olivia's gaze locked onto mine. Lauren here has been poking around where she shouldn't, accessing private financial records, asking questions about old news articles. Tell me, dear, how's your job at the Wildlife Center? My blood ran cold. What did you do? Nothing yet, but one phone call about certain irregularities in your research permits. That's enough, Dad's voice cracked like a whip. Leave my daughters out of this. Daughters? Olivia laughed. Which ones? The ones you claim or the one you abandoned? Mia's pencil snapped in her grip. You don't get to play that card, I said, anger burning away my fear. Not when you're the reason our family fell apart. No, Lauren. Sarah's voice was quiet. Olivia didn't break our family. We did that ourselves with every secret we kept, every truth we buried. She just exploited the cracks that were already there. And I'll keep exploiting them, Olivia said pleasantly, unless everyone remembers their place. Michael, the contracts need your real signature by tomorrow. Sarah, our mutual friend, needs those permits processed. And Lauren, her smile turned predatory. Stop digging, or your sister, any of them, might face consequences you're not prepared for. She stood, smoothing her designer suit. Lovely chat. Mia, darling, remember what we discussed about your future? We watched her leave in suffocating silence. How long? I asked Dad. How long has she been pulling our strings? Since before your mother left. He wouldn't meet my eyes. The wildlife trafficking investigation. I found evidence, but by then it was too late. She had everything documented, every shortcut I'd taken to save the business during the recession. So you let her drive Mom away? Let her threaten us? I thought I was protecting you. Well, you failed. I stood up, hands shaking. And now she's doing it again with Mia. Sarah reached for my arm. Lauren, please, we can't fight her. Not directly. Watch me. I pulled away, mind already racing with possibilities. You might have given up, but I haven't, and I won't let her hurt anyone else in our family. Lauren, Dad called after me, but I was already walking away. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Smart girl, wrong choice, check your email. The Wildlife Center had terminated my position, effective immediately. Cited concerns about ethical violations in my research. I smiled grimly. Olivia thought she'd won, thought she'd scared me off, but she'd just given me nothing left to lose. Game on. Ben Carter's office at the Wildlife Sanctuary felt like the last safe place in my unraveling world. He studied the documents spread across his desk: bank statements, permit applications, and the fragments of Olivia's past I'd managed to piece together. "This goes deeper than wildlife trafficking," he said, tapping a financial report. "These shell companies, the way the money moves, it's not just animals she's smuggling." "What else?" "Could be anything. Drugs, weapons." He hesitated. "People." My coffee turned bitter in my mouth. "You think she's involved in human trafficking? Your mother's sudden departure, the control over your father's business. Now Mia." He let the implications hang in the air. A knock interrupted us. Ethan Brooks, my former colleague, stood in the doorway. "Lauren, you need to see this." He pulled up a video on his phone. Security footage from the sanctuary's research facility. Emma, my sister, accessing restricted files at midnight. "When was this?" "Last night, right before someone leaked those fabricated research violations that got you fired." The betrayal hit like a physical blow. "She's working for Olivia." "Or being forced to," Ben suggested. "Like your father." My phone buzzed. Rachel, my stepmother. "Emma's in the hospital. She tried to—" "Lauren, please come." The drive to the hospital was a blur. I found Rachel in the waiting room, mascara streaked down her face. "What happened?" "They're calling it an accident. She took too many sleeping pills." Rachel's hands twisted in her lap. "But she left this for you." A folded note, Emma's hurried handwriting. "Storage Unit 23, Red Oak Facility. The truth about Mia. I'm sorry." Dad appeared in the hallway, Olivia at his side like a shadow. "Lauren, what are you doing here?" "Checking on my sister. Or is that not allowed anymore?" "Now isn't the time for—" Dad started, but Olivia cut him off. "Actually, it's the perfect time. Emma's accident is unfortunate, but perhaps it will remind everyone what's at stake when they make impulsive choices." The threat in her voice was unmistakable. She'd done this, pushed Emma to this point as a warning to me. "You won't get away with this," I said quietly. Olivia smiled. "I already have, for 19 years. Ask your father about the night your mother really left, about what he chose to protect." Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. "Or better yet," Olivia continued, "ask yourself why Mia's birth certificate lists me as her legal guardian, not Sarah." The world tilted sideways. "What?" "Visiting hours are over," a nurse announced. "We'll talk more at the charity gala tomorrow," Olivia said smoothly. "One big happy family." I waited until they left before showing Rachel the note. "I need to check this storage unit." "I'm coming with you." Rachel's voice was steel. "Emma's my daughter. If Olivia did this to her—" The storage facility was deserted at dusk. Unit 23's lock clicked open with Emma's code. Inside, we found filing cabinets full of documents: adoption papers, medical records, court orders, and photographs. Olivia with a much younger Sarah, both in lab coats. Mia as a baby, surrounded by medical equipment. "Oh, God," Rachel whispered, reading one of the files. "Lauren, Mia wasn't born. She was created, some kind of genetic experiment. Olivia and Sarah were research partners before." My phone rang. "Ben." "Lauren, get out of there now. I found the connection. Olivia's research facility, the one that burned down 19 years ago, they were developing biological weapons. Your mother was her partner until she tried to expose them. And Mia was their prototype." Headlights swept across the storage unit's entrance. A car door slammed. "She's here," Rachel hissed. I grabbed the most damning files and shoved them into my bag. "Back exit, now." As we slipped into the darkness, one thought burned in my mind. Mia wasn't just my sister. She was living proof of Olivia's crimes, and tomorrow at the gala, everyone would know the truth. Unless Olivia killed us all first. The charity gala sparkled with false promises and champagne bubbles. I adjusted my wire, Ben's voice crackling in my earpiece. "Cameras are looped. You've got 20 minutes to access Olivia's office." Across the ballroom, Olivia held court near the donor wall, one hand possessively gripping Mia's shoulder. My sister, no, my father's genetic experiment, smiled that practiced smile that suddenly made terrible sense. Ready for this? Ethan appeared at my elbow, playing his part in a perfectly tailored tux. Just keep her distracted. He nodded, moving toward Olivia with the confidence of someone carrying 8 figures in donation promises. I slipped away, heels silent on the marble floors. Olivia's office door yielded to Emma's keycard, my sister's last gift before her accident. Inside, the air felt thick with secrets. I headed straight for the hidden safe Ben's thermal scan had revealed. The combination was Mia's birthday. Of course it was. Someone's coming, Ben warned in my ear. Security patrol. I grabbed the files and started scanning. Project Phoenix, genetic modifications, human trials, dates matching Mia's conception, and there, buried in the medical jargon, my mother's signature on the original research papers. Footsteps approached. Lauren? Dad's voice. What are you doing here? I turned, documents clutched to my chest, finding out why Mom really left, what you and Olivia did to Mia. His face crumpled. We were trying to save lives. The research could have cured genetic diseases, but Sarah, she thought we went too far. So Olivia forced her out, threatened her? She threatened you. His voice broke, said she'd make you disappear next. I had to choose. The door opened again. Sarah stood there, looking elegant and haunted in black silk. I chose too, she said quietly. I chose to run, to protect what was left of my daughter's humanity. But I failed. Time's up, Ben warned. Olivia's heading your way. Did you know, I demanded, about Emma, what Olivia did to her? Emma was getting too close, Sarah whispered. Like I did, like you are now. Lauren, Olivia's voice cut through the room like a blade. Family meeting in my office? How convenient. She entered with Mia, closing the door with a decisive click. I see you found Project Phoenix. Sarah, darling, you should have burned those files when you had the chance. It's over, I said. I'm taking these public. Are you? Olivia smiled. Mia, show your sister what you can do. My 8-year-old sister raised her hand. The files in my grip burst into flames. I dropped them with a cry. The papers crumbled to ash, my skin untouched. Genetic modification has come so far, Olivia mused. Mia's generation will be perfect, enhanced, superior. She's a child, Sarah protested, not your weapon. I'm whatever I choose to be, Mia said, her voice eerily adult. And I choose power. The Gallaghests are getting suspicious, Ben's voice crackled. Lauren, get out now. But Olivia blocked the door. You have one chance, Lauren. Join us. Help perfect what your parents started, or join Emma in her unfortunate accident. Don't threaten my daughter. Dad stepped forward. Your daughter? Olivia laughed. Check your DNA, Michael. Lauren's not yours. She's the first successful Phoenix trial. Sarah's little insurance policy. The world tilted. Sarah's sharp intake of breath confirmed it. That's why you really left, I realized. Not to protect me from Olivia, to protect me from becoming like Mia. Enough talking. Olivia drew a small remote from her clutch. Choose, Lauren. Family loyalty or family destruction. You have 30 seconds before this building's security system suffers a catastrophic failure, with all these wealthy donors trapped inside. My earpiece crackled with Ben's panic. Ethan's voice in the background confirming the security systems were compromised. I looked at my mother, my creator, at my father, my protector, at Mia, my future. I choose neither, I said, and felt something spark inside me, a power I'd never known I had. The sprinklers activated, but what rained down wasn't water. It was justice, and it was about to burn everything to the ground. Chaos erupted in Olivia's office as the sprinkler system released a caustic chemical cocktail. Through the burning haze, I watched my newfound powers manifest, sparks dancing between my fingers like tiny lightning bolts. "Get everyone out!" Ben's voice crackled through the failing earpiece. "The building security systems are going critical." But Olivia stood unmoved, a cruel smile playing across her face. "Finally," she breathed, "the dormant genes have activated, just like they did in Mia." Mia stepped forward, her small hands glowing with an intense blue light. "We're the same now, Lauren. We can be a real family." "We're not a family," I spat. "We're your experiments." The door burst open. Emma stumbled in, pale but alive, supported by Rachel. "Lauren, stop. The chemicals, they're triggering mutations in the guests downstairs." Horror crawled up my throat as screams echoed from the ballroom. What had I done? "Beautiful, isn't it?" Olivia moved to the window overlooking the chaos below. Project Phoenix was never about curing diseases. It was about evolution, forced adaptation. She turned to Sarah. "Your daughter just helped me achieve what 19 years of research couldn't, mass activation." "You planned this," Sarah whispered. "You knew Lauren would discover the truth, that she'd try to expose you tonight." "Of course. Why do you think I let Emma find those files? Why I pushed her to that accident?" Olivia's laugh was sharp as broken glass. "I needed Lauren's powers to manifest. Rage is such a reliable trigger." My father lunged for Olivia, but Mia raised her hand. He froze mid-motion, suspended by invisible force. "Dad!" Emma tried to run to him, but Rachel held her back. "The whole family together," Olivia mused. Sarah's failed experiment, Michael's betrayal, Emma's weakness, and my two successes. She gestured to Mia and me. "Choose now, Lauren. Join us willingly, or watch your family suffer the consequences of your resistance." The power inside me surged, desperate for release. But as I raised my hands, Mia's energy field expanded, trapping us all in a shimmering bubble. "I learned control years ago," she said, sounding decades older than 8. "You're just beginning. You can't beat me." "She doesn't have to," Emma's voice rang out. She pulled away from Rachel, revealing a syringe. "The neutralizing agent from your lab, Olivia, the one you used on the failed subjects." Before anyone could move, Emma plunged the needle into her own arm. Her body convulsed. "No!" I screamed, but Mia's field held me back. "Fascinating," Olivia observed as Emma collapsed. "Sacrificing herself to activate your protective instincts, but will it be enough?" The sprinklers sputtered out. Through the window, I could see people running, their bodies distorting, powers manifesting uncontrollably. My fault. All my fault. "Time to choose, Lauren," Olivia pressed. "Your sister's life depends on it. The neutralizing agent will kill her without the proper counter serum, which only I have." Sarah moved toward Emma's crumpled form. "You're lying. There is no counter serum." "Are you willing to bet Emma's life on that?" My powers flickered weakly. Everything I'd done to protect my family had only put them in more danger. Emma dying, Dad frozen, Rachel watching helplessly, Sarah trapped in her own guilt, and Mia? Mia lost to Olivia's manipulation. "Tick-tock," Olivia sang. "Emma has minutes at most, and those people downstairs, their mutations will be permanent soon, unless I join you," I finished numbly. "Smart girl. Together, we can control them all. Guide humanity's evolution." She extended her hand. "What's your answer?" Emma's breathing grew ragged. Dad remained suspended, his eyes pleading. Through the window, the city blazed with newfound powers, run amok. I reached for Olivia's hand, and everything went dark. When emergency power kicked in, Olivia's smile had turned predatory. "Welcome to the family, Lauren. Now let's remake the world." Behind her, Mia's expression mirrored my own despair. We weren't survivors of Project Phoenix. We were its weapons, and I just handed Olivia the keys to our destruction. 3 days after surrendering to Olivia, I watched her parade her enhanced subjects through private demonstrations for military contractors. Each person from the gala now exhibited unique abilities, all under her control through the chemical cocktail she'd perfected. Emma remained unconscious, kept alive by machines in Olivia's private lab. The counter serum existed, but each dose came with a price: my compliance. Beautiful progress, Olivia remarked, reviewing data on her tablet. Your genetic markers are particularly fascinating, Lauren. So much untapped potential. I stood at her side, playing the dutiful protege while my powers churned beneath my skin. Beside me, Mia's expression remained carefully blank. Did you know, Olivia continued, that Mia was technically your daughter, not your sister? We used your embryonic cells to create her. Sarah's contribution was merely gestational. The world tilted. I met Mia's eyes, seeing my own shock reflected there. Why tell us now? Mia asked, her voice trembling for the first time since I'd known her. Because family is everything. Olivia smiled that serpentine smile. And it's time for a family reunion. Bring them in. The lab doors opened. Guards escorted my parents in, Sarah, Michael, and Rachel. Their hands were bound with power-dampening cuffs. The gang's all here, Olivia announced. Well, except Emma, but she's serving a greater purpose as our motivation, aren't you, Lauren? I said nothing, but the lights flickered with my barely contained rage. Now, Olivia activated a screen showing Emma's vital signs. Let's discuss the next phase. The military wants a demonstration of coordinated, enhanced combat. Lauren, you and Mia will. No. The word escaped before I could stop it. Olivia's smile hardened. No. I've watched your demonstrations, studied your research. The neutralizing agent Emma took, it's not fatal, it's a catalyst. I stepped forward. You never had a counter serum because you never needed one. Emma's not dying, she's transforming. The monitor tracking Emma's vitals began beeping rapidly. Clever girl. Olivia's laugh held no warmth. But knowing the truth doesn't change anything. I still own you, all of you. You're wrong. Mia moved to stand beside me. A daughter should stand with her mother, her real mother. Power surged between us, electricity arcing from my hands meeting Mia's blue energy. The combined force shattered our parents' restraints. Security, Olivia shouted, but the doors remained locked. Looking for this? Ben's voice came through the intercom. On the security screens, he and Ethan had control of the facility's systems. It's over, Olivia, Sarah said. The military contractors outside, they're FBI. We've been feeding them evidence for days. You planned this? Olivia's composure cracked. Impossible. Lauren joined me willingly. No, I advanced on her. I joined you to understand, to learn how you controlled the enhanced subjects, and now I know how to free them. The sprinkler system activated, but this time the chemical spray was different. A neutralizing compound of my own design, created from my blood while playing Olivia's apprentice. You can't! Olivia lunged for the controls, but Mia's force field held her back. The power, the evolution, you'll destroy everything. Evolution isn't meant to be controlled, I said. Neither are we. Emma burst through the lab doors, her skin glowing with newfound power. Did I miss the family reunion? Olivia screamed in rage, her own hidden modifications manifesting in desperate fury. She launched herself at me, but found herself caught between 4 generations of power, mine, Mia's, Emma's, and Sarah's long-dormant abilities. Funny thing about evolution, I said as our combined energy consumed her. It favors adaptation over control, and we've adapted beyond you. The explosion of power that followed reduced Olivia's legacy to ashes, while the compound in the sprinklers ensured every enhanced subject retained their free will. As alarms blared and FBI teams swarmed the facility, I held Mia close, feeling the truth of our connection. Not weapon and wielder, not sister and sister, but mother and daughter. Both victims of Olivia's ambition, both survivors of her manipulation. "What now?" Mia asked softly. I looked at our assembled family, broken, rebuilt, and stronger for it. Now we heal, together. The power within me settled, no longer a curse or a tool for revenge, but a reminder that the strongest evolution comes from love, not control. The wildlife sanctuary felt different in the aftermath. Sunlight streamed through the renovated windows, illuminating the empty cages where Olivia once kept her test subjects. Now they served as rehabilitation spaces for injured animals, a fitting transformation. I watched Mia work with a young fox, her powers gentle and controlled. She'd grown inches taller in the months since Olivia's fall, but her eyes held decades of understanding. "The leg's healing well," she said, letting the blue energy fade from her hands. "Just like us." The door opened as Emma wheeled in her latest patient, a hawk with a broken wing. Her own abilities had stabilized into something beautiful, the power to accelerate healing in living things, a perfect counter to my capacity for destruction. "Dad's here," she announced, with the final test results. Michael entered, looking older but lighter, the weight of secrets finally lifted. "The genetic modifications are permanent," he said, "but stable. No signs of degradation in any of the subjects who chose to keep their abilities." "And those who wanted them removed?" I asked. "The neutralizing compound worked. They're fully human again." He hesitated. "Sarah wants to know if you've made your decision." I touched the vial in my pocket, the last dose of the neutralizer, enough for one person to erase all traces of Project Phoenix from their system, the choice Olivia never gave her subjects. "I'm keeping them," I said. "These powers are part of who I am now, who we all are." "Even knowing how they came to be?" Rachel appeared in the doorway, carrying coffee and files. She'd taken over the sanctuary's administrative duties, turning it into a legitimate research facility. "Especially knowing," Mia answered for me. "We're not experiments anymore. We're evolution." Ben and Ethan arrived with lunch, spreading files across the break room table. The FBI was still uncovering the extent of Olivia's network, but her empire had crumbled. Her remaining loyalists had scattered, their enhanced abilities either neutralized or turned to better purposes. "Speaking of evolution," Ben said, sliding a document toward me, "the genetic therapy program is ready for review, using your combined abilities to cure genetic diseases, the way Project Phoenix was supposed to work." "Before Olivia corrupted it," Emma added quietly. I studied the proposal, remembering Olivia's final moments, not her defeat in the lab, but later, in her prison cell. Her last words still echoed. "You'll understand someday, when the power becomes everything. Control is inevitable." But she was wrong. The proof sat around this table. My family, broken and rebuilt, stronger in the broken places. Sarah joined us last, carrying Olivia's old research tablet. "I found something," she said, "about the original Phoenix trials. There were others before Lauren, children who survived." The room fell silent. "How many?" I asked. "3, all adopted, all living normal lives. They don't know what they are." "What they could be," Mia corrected. I felt the weight of the decision settling on my shoulders. These unknown siblings deserve to know the truth about their potential, but they also deserve the peace of ignorance, something I could never reclaim. "We protect them," I decided. "Monitor from a distance. If their abilities ever manifest, we'll be there to help. But we don't force evolution, not anymore." Emma squeezed my hand, her healing energy mingling with my destructive force. Opposite powers, working in harmony. "The sanctuary needs a new name," Rachel suggested. something that honors what we've become. I looked at my gathered family, not just blood relations, but the bonds forged in fire. Michael and Rachel, finding strength in honesty. Emma and Mia, sisters transcending their origins. Sarah, Ben, and Ethan, proving loyalty survives betrayal. Phoenix Foundation, Mia said suddenly, not for Olivia's project, but for us. What we rose from. I smiled, feeling the power pulse beneath my skin. No longer a weapon or a curse, but a reminder. Evolution isn't about control or revenge, it's about adaptation, growth, love. Phoenix Foundation, I agreed, where broken things learn to fly again. The fox in its cage chirped softly, its leg nearly healed. Tomorrow we'd release it back into the wild, but tonight we'd gather as a family, carrying our scars and our powers, our past and our potential. Some would call it redemption. I called it evolution.